Hi Aquarius! I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. I'm seeing something happy going on, something very happy going on here. 44 on the time when I looked up. The 3 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. For some of you, there's somebody that you're meeting up with, somebody that you're hanging out with. For some of you, this is an old friend. This can also be family members. For some of you, this is a long-time connection that you have with this person. And you can be reconnecting with them. It doesn't have to be physically. It can even mean like a phone date with someone, or FaceTime or Skyping or Zooming, whatever it is that we're doing nowadays. For some of you, there's definitely a notion of a lot of stress that you've been carrying, but I'm seeing that although there are things that you're going through, there's a sense of really recognizing your strength here. Really knowing that, and knowing that even when things are kind of all over the place or maybe chaotic or feel like you have a lot to do, there's a sense of really coming into your own here and recognizing the strength that you do have, the courage that you do have. Maybe this is also a highlight on, I'm hearing performing endurance in relationship to all this stuff that's going on with you that you're carrying. It's interesting too, I'm seeing a bit of intensity here as well when it comes to emotions, but there's a sense of you kind of softly floating on top of all of this, which is an interesting vision that I'm getting here. It's like there's definitely, if your mindset were different, you may feel so overburdened by this that it would feel hard to manage, but because of you really standing in your power here, standing in your light, I'm also hearing, I'm getting something about creativity as well. Maybe creative problem solving. I'm seeing you like really keeping afloat here and really holding on to that happiness. Maybe you're also doing things as well that you feel driven by, that you feel passionately about. And because of this, it's like worth it. Like, even though it may be stressful at times too, it feels worth it because you feel fulfilled by this path that you're on. For some of you too, there's either support that you're feeling from your spirit guides and or people that you know around you that are supporting you too, people cheering you on. Alright, let's get further here. Yeah, there's something really optimistic. But the thing is that this isn't just like, what is it called? What do we call it? Toxic positivity. It's not just like, yeah, everything's fine and everything's great and like nothing's wrong, or I'm not having a bad time at any moment. It's like being realistic about it and being like, yeah, I am stressed, but it feels worth it to me at times. Or, yeah, this is a lot to manage, but I know that I can do it. You know, it's that type of thing where it's like you being honest and authentic about how you're feeling. And that includes the whole spectrum of emotions. But because of holding on to that, you get to feel everything, even the really high moments. And it feels like when you're experiencing maybe those more difficult moments, you know that you can get through them too. This is what I'm seeing here. Yeah, you know that you can get through them. I feel like this is really you tapping into, I'm hearing something vast and deeply within you with the Strength card. This is internal strength. As I said before, there's a notion of endurance, of being able to outlast. You know, the thing too with the Strength card, especially with it next to the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is like maybe feeling overburdened at times, feeling stressed out, feeling like a lot is going on, feeling maybe like you should take things more slowly at times, depending on the context. But it's kind of this feeling of overload. The thing with the Strength card next to that, the Strength card is about, you see how the person on here is with the lion. Now primarily we think about lions and we think about how they're very dangerous and whatnot, and you see someone that's like taming a lion in a way, and it's all about how, rather than, because you see the ease of their relationship, rather than someone trying to like overpower or control or master the lion, there's a sense of trust here that we have with the lion. And I see that as being metaphorical in this scenario. And it's about taming those parts of yourself by bringing light to them and bringing trust into situations, especially at times as well when you feel like a lot's being thrown at you and a lot is going on and maybe things aren't going the way that you want them to go. This is about knowing that if we are embracing all of ourselves and giving ourselves the trust and like waiting out these periods when we need to be more patient or maybe need to get in line with what's going on, there's a sense of being able to outlast these moments that are more difficult and see your way through to accomplish what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So the Strength card to me is not just about like strength and courage and like fighting through something. It's also about trusting yourself. It's also about giving things time to unfold and giving things time to grow, and absolutely the endurance that it takes to be able to work your way through things and to do it with a soft touch as well. It's not about like jamming puzzle pieces together. This is about letting things really flow for you. And it seems like you're absolutely in a flow state. And not because you're neglecting anything or bypassing anything. It's because you're taking everything into account. And that's very much what this feels like, Aquarius. It's very beautiful energy. I'm hearing something about alchemy. I love that word. It's very interesting. For some of you, it seems like once upon a time there was something that you wanted, and I don't know if maybe this was something that you tucked away, but it seems like it may be coming to fruition at this point in time. That's an interesting notion. It's almost like some type of vision or desire that you could have had, and maybe life continued and it was something that you almost even forgot about. I'm seeing something come up now from the past. It feels like it's connected to a dream or something. Interesting. For some of you, you could have been hoping that you would find support in relation to something that you had already gone through with someone. It's like you could have been going through a difficult situation with someone and been trying to move on from it and maybe having a difficult time doing that, and you had been hoping for help, and I'm seeing somebody come through if that's what you were looking for. For some of you, this is you helping yourself, but for others of you, I'm actually seeing a person come through and help you. This person may be younger than you, because I'm looking at a page here. Yeah, it looks like I'm hearing divinely orchestrated, and I'm also hearing divine timing with the way that somebody enters in. Yeah, there could have been a really difficult situation you were going through with someone who was like embodying a difficult type of energy that you were working with, and this could have had you feeling all over the place, but I'm seeing that there's already been a move to be able to work through this. It's interesting that it's coming up though, and maybe this is part of what that stress was related to. It's like in the past, if this was something that you would have had a more difficult time managing, maybe it would have just overburdened you, but now there's a sense of knowing how to work through something. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm getting the word resilience right away. Yeah, this feels like I'm seeing like two of the most difficult energies coming through, which can be very, very difficult for us to deal with, because it means not only working with ourselves and like working through a process, but this is usually the involvement of like energies outside of ourselves that are difficult to work with too. Because there's a sense of coming into contact with somebody that you definitely have big feelings for, or had at one time big feelings for. For a lot of you, this is someone you had history with, and or this is a situation that has already happened. There's a sense of time here that I'm seeing. So I'm not seeing this be like, yeah, in your future this is going to be popping up. I'm seeing this as like already happened. You've already dealt with this person, or you're still like in the process of moving through the energy with this individual. What I'm seeing is that there's a sense of you finding support. For some of you, it's within a certain type of community. For some of you, it's within like a spiritual community, or like you guys share some sort of belief system, similar philosophies, stuff like that. It's like people that kind of see the world maybe in a similar way to you. And this can be finding like friends or companions or whomever, whether this be in person or online, but it seems like there's a system of support that you have been finding for yourself. For some of you, this can even be something like therapeutically related. It can be like finding some sort of guide for yourself that you feel like is on the same wave as you, and it's like every time you hear this person speak, it makes so much sense to you and it resonates with you, with what you're going through, and it's a light that you feel is helpful to you. And there's a sense of you like almost remembering here what it feels like to get in touch with that sense of happiness that maybe at one point in time you even like lost focus of, and it felt very hard to get connected with. And I'm seeing like because of this sense of resilience here, you're moving through a transition that also includes you working through an extremely stressful situation that you had with someone, where the experience had been one of deception and one of needing to work through this. And I'm seeing somebody who's intentions, whether or not they were deliberate. This was something that may have felt very damaging at one point in time to go through, because maybe you feel, looking back at it, that you had been like really trusting of someone. I know that I've said this before in another one of my readings, but sometimes when we go through a situation with someone, when we care for somebody and we want to believe that they're telling us the truth, even if our intuition is telling us otherwise, we're more likely to believe someone. And when we have cognitive dissonance, it comes from things like somebody behaving one way and then telling you that they're doing the exact opposite of it, and then you're sitting there confused because you're like, well, which one is the truth? Is it what you're doing, or is it what you're telling me? And you could have gone through a difficult situation with somebody. That's what it looks like here, where someone was being deceptive with you, and this was something that really promoted you getting in touch with like your inner strength and your courage and you stepping up and being brave, even if you did love someone. And this is about stepping into your energy in a way where we recognize that we can both love and care for somebody, and we can also create boundaries. And that also doesn't mean necessarily that we trust somebody. This is about you really prioritizing yourself and your intuition and your needs, and putting that above feeling weak because you love somebody. You know what I mean? So this is all about recognizing that you can absolutely still hold love in your heart for somebody, maybe even a situation that you went through, and maybe even at the time like you needed to separate yourself when you were going through this and tell yourself whatever it was that you were feeling towards this person, in order to make the space that you needed. And now it seems like, looking back on this situation, you can feel that love once again. Like, some of us are moving through a situation right now where it's like, I think there's almost a sense of being maybe even thankful for these experiences that you've had, and maybe even understanding how they've brought you to where you are. I know not everybody is going to feel like that at this time. It's absolutely part of the healing. But for some of you, there's a sense of getting through some conflicting feelings that you were having and understanding to what it truly means to love someone, including yourself. And as I said before, knowing that you may have love for anybody, and that doesn't mean that you need to be involved with their karma, involved with their storyline. And for some of us, this is like a big realization, because it's like, well, how can you say that you love somebody and not have them in your life? And there's a notion of being able to continuously move out of situations where the drama becomes too heavy, and be able to still, when you think of that person, be like, yeah, I love that person, but you don't need to have them in your life. Ooh, this feels like such big healing, Aquarius. There's a sense, too, of working with people that are strengthening your intuition. Maybe you're even working with yourself, with your guides. So in this spread, I'm looking at... I feel like there should be a drum roll. I'm looking at Leo, I'm looking at Cancer, Taurus, and Scorpio. There's also a sense of self-forgiveness here as well that I'm seeing too. There's a notion of being able to as well walk away from things. It's like, even if someone is trying to like pull you back, or you feel like you want to jump in and like respond to something, there's a sense of being like, I know that if I wanted to play this game, we could play it forever, but I don't want to play this game anymore. That's really what this feels like. Ooh, I feel so proud. This is such a process. I truly am feeling this. So pat yourself on the back, Aquarius. It really is the most freeing feeling when you have gotten through something so difficult that like trauma could have derived from it, and like a lot of pain and a lot of changes and like heartbreak and all of that stuff. It's amazing when you get to a place where you can truly look back upon something, and like even someone that was the catalyst for you to go through something very huge and normally unpleasant, and be able to be like, thank you, I love you, you know, just like say that out into the universe. And not feeling like you need to like wish harm on anybody or even be checking up on them, but to be able to just leave things there like that and leave it on that note. Because the thing is too, when we hold on to feelings other than love for other things, whether they be people or places or things or experiences, we're still holding on to an attachment, which is accruing karma as well. So it's something that still energetically we're tied to, and we get to choose what we want to be tied to, what we allow ourselves to be tied to, and what we let go of. And the goal is always to get to a place where we can look at everything lovingly. But it's absolutely difficult. Absolutely. But when you get to that place, it's like, it feels like ecstasy to be able to move into that. You know what, Aquarius, at 2111, I'm going to leave it here. This feels like a good place to end it. I would like to thank everybody for joining. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.